So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So guys, Bob Arum, Bob Arum says that the reason why Terence Crawford and Manny Pacquiao fell through was because no one put the money up. No one put the money up in the Middle East or Abu Dhabi. Both fighters had their contracts signed, but unfortunately nobody put the money up because of the pandemic and the situation. Nobody was willing to put the money up. Both contract had the fight signed. So the reports that were coming out that Terence Crawford didn't sign, according to Bob Arum, that's not true. Both fighters did have their fight signed. However, Bob Arum, there was no proof of funds. The money didn't get put up. And the reason because of that was probably due with the pandemic, because they don't think they could get a sufficient gate, or they couldn't get a gate because no one would come, or there wouldn't be that kind of interest. Whatever the reason was, it's very disappointing. Very, very, very disappointing. Especially now when you know that Manny's probably going to fight Mikey Garcia in the Middle East. I don't know what validity there was to these talks anyway, because I know Sean Gibbons was saying it was nonsense and stuff like that. So we don't know how much validity there was to it. But I don't understand why there would be funds for Manny Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia if that happens in the Middle East, but not for Manny Pacquiao v Terence Crawford. I'm just a bit confused. But this Crawford-Pacquiao fight, it's never going to happen. Because let's be honest with you, right? For years we've been hearing that this fight's going to happen, this fight's going to happen, this fight's going to happen. You hear before it was Qatar. And I know Bob Arum's talking about the pandemic. That was the reason probably why it didn't happen. But even before the pandemic, there was talks about this fight happening in the Middle East, weren't there? Even before there was COVID, there was talks about this fight happening, and it never came to fruition. Not just in Middle East, but anywhere in America. This fight just didn't seem to come to fruition, and it's sad because it would definitely be a great fight, but unfortunately it just doesn't seem like a fight that's going to come off. I know Terence Crawford wants this fight, and he wants this fight, and I know Manny Pacquiao would fight Crawford in a heartbeat, but for some reason, unfortunately, I just don't think their paths are going to cross. Because if let's be honest, if they were going to fight, they would have fought by now. Terence Crawford is promoted by Top Rank. Manny Pacquiao was promoted by Top Rank, and the fight never got made. Now Manny Pacquiao is not even with Top Rank. I know that there was talks about it being close and stuff, but it just seems unrealistic now. I just think that if a fight when Pacquiao was under the same banner as Crawford was such a difficult fight, or a fight that didn't happen, then what is the chances now that Pacquiao's not even with Bob Arum that the fight's going to happen? So it's sad, because I think it would have been a great fight, and I think it would have been a fight that people would have tuned into. It would have definitely done some good numbers. But yeah, I just don't think this fight's going to happen. I think we should I think this is the final nail in this fight, in the sense that it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And I think Manny Pacquiao should fight Mikey Garcia. What's Terence Crawford going to do now? You guys tell me, what does Terence Crawford do from here? Where does Terence Crawford go from here? Because Terence Crawford's gone, the situation with Terence Crawford, everything's gone quiet. Everything's gone quiet. What is going on with Terence Crawford? Who's Terence Crawford going to fight? Because Terence Crawford, right now, I don't know, there's no fight being announced. I know he didn't fight that long ago in November, but surely now we would be hearing some kind of talk about another potential fight, and we're not hearing anything. We're not hearing anything. We know that all we know is that the Pacquiao fight has fell through. Who is going to be next for Terence Crawford? Because we know it's not Pacquiao now, because Pacquiao's more likely fighting Mikey Garcia. So who is Terence Crawford going to fight? Who is Terence Crawford going to get in the ring with? Because it looks like there's no name at the minute. There's no name linked with Crawford. Crawford right now, even with a world title, seems like to be a guy in the Who Needs Me club. You know, I feel for Terence Crawford. I do. I know a lot of you guys give him a lot of stick, but I do feel for him. Who does he fight? I want to see him fight Sean Porter now, because I think who else is there out there that's really going to fight him? I don't think the Danny Garcia fight happens. I think the Danny Garcia fight is a fight that they should target, because Danny Garcia is a biggish name, and it's a big fight. And Danny Garcia might, at this stage in his career, with coming off 3 losses, he may look to fight someone like Terence Crawford, because it's for a title shot. You know, so, and surely Danny Garcia still believes he could beat Crawford, right? I'm not saying he will, and I wouldn't pick him to, but surely he would believe in himself and think that he could beat someone like Terence Crawford. Or is it Danny Garcia wanting a warm-up fight or a tune-up fight before he goes in with Crawford? I don't know why he would need one, because he just had a fight with Spence where he went 12 rounds. So he's got rounds under the belt. It's not like he's inactive. You know, he's fought recently. So, yeah, I like that fight. I think Garcia-Crawford would be a great fight. I think Crawford v. Porter would be a great fight. But, Crawford's going to have to get an opponent. He's going to have to get a good world-class fighter. Now, there are talks that he may be waiting for the winner of Ramirez and Taylor. Whoever wins that fight in May may be in line to fight Terence Crawford, which, again, will be a good fight. But, again, is that really the marquee fight that, you know, Crawford wants? Is the Taylor-Ramirez winner a marquee fight for Terence Crawford at 147? He'd be fighting a guy, yes, that undisputed, but undisputed at the lower weight class. He's still not fighting a top welterweight, because you can't tell me that just because somebody becomes an undisputed at 140 means that they're a great welterweight, even without fighting at welterweight. So Taylor and Ramirez would have to prove themselves. So if he goes, if whoever wins the Taylor Ramirez fights Crawford, they'll say, well, okay, but who did they beat at 147? You know, they're not legitimate 147. So I honestly think that Crawford needs to fight Sean Porter. He needs a fight with Danny Garcia. He needs a fight with Keith Thurman. You know, he needs a fight with these type of names if he wants to make a name for himself in the welterweight division. Otherwise, I just don't think he's gonna get the credit. I don't think he's gonna get the credit. So yeah, hopefully Terence Crawford can secure that big fight. I think he deserves it now. I think he's at the stage of his career where he needs it. He needs it. It's not gonna be Manny Pacquiao. That's what we know. We know for sure it's not gonna be Manny Pacquiao. But I'm pretty sure they could find somebody. They could pay someone decent money. Someone like a Sean Porter, someone like Danny Garcia, and I do think they're going to have to come in with a good offer. You know, these guys have made good money in their careers, especially someone like Danny Garcia. He's made very good money, so they're gonna have to come at them with good money. You know, they're gonna have to give him a big payday, because, like I said, Terence Crawford's in like the Who Needs Me club. Nobody really wants to fight him because a lot of the other welterweights, like the only guy that's really, in my opinion, wants to fight him is Sean Porter. He's the only guy that showed that he really wants that fight. You know, would Keith Thurman fight him? Like, I don't understand why Keith Thurman wouldn't be, blowing the door down for that fight, because Keith Thurman, right? Again, he's not a world champion. He's inactive. His career seems like it's on the other side, on the wrong side, really, where he's getting past it. So it would be an opportunity for him to win a world title and fight the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. It's a legacy fight for Keith Thurman. So I don't know why Keith Thurman would not want it. But again, I know Keith Thurman wants to be paid well because he got paid a lot of money in the Pacquiao fight. But I think Keith Thurman has a chance there to get paid millions and, fight someone like Terence Crawford, get his name back out there, fighting a number one pound-for-pound guy. You can get your name back up in the lights. Thurman could. So I think it makes a lot of sense for Keith Thurman to explore that fight. If he's realistic, You know, obviously, because before they were saying he was asking for 10 million, which I don't think he was, because Keith Thurman denied that. Now, I don't know, again, we don't know who's true and we don't know who's saying the truth. We don't know. But according to Bob Arum, he did, I think it was one of their team anyway. I think they said, it might have even been Crawford on social media, said that Thurman wants 10 million. And Thurman came out and said, no, I didn't ever say I wanted 10. I never ever wanted 10 million. We just don't know. But the fact is, there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of talking. You know, as Anthony Joshua says, less talk, more action. And I think with making some of these fights, there needs to be less talk, more action. We need to see these fights. We need to see Crawford v Spence. We need to see Crawford v Porter. You know, stop all of this on the other side of the street nonsense, because boxing, this is boxing. What's the other side of the street? What's that all about? Who cares who's on the other side of the street or who's with another promoter? The whole point of boxing is fighting the best, fighting one another. It doesn't matter which broadcaster you're with, which promoter you're with. The boxing is about, or sport is about, the best fighting the best, or the best playing the best. Especially in a sport where, like boxing, the things are negotiated. And even more so, you can give the fans great fights by fighting the best. If you're the best, fight the other best, and see who the best is. See who the ultimate best is. You know, it's definitely frustrating, because Pacquiao Crawford was one of the fights that I really wanted to see. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like that fight's going to take place. Will it ever happen in the future? I'm not convinced, because I just think Pacquiao and Crawford have been linked for so many years to fight one another. But it's never materialized. The fight's never ever materialized. So if the fight's never materialized in so many years, when Pacquiao and Bob Arum were under the same banner, Pacquiao and Crawford, were under the same banner, then why would it happen now when Pacquiao's near the end of his career? He's no longer with Bob Arum. What's to say this fight's going to happen now? So I don't see it. You know, I hope I'm wrong. I hope this, you know, maybe Pacquiao fights Mikey Garcia, then Crawford fights Porter, they both win, and then we see a showdown at the end of the year. But I very highly doubt it, which is a shame, because I think it was one of the fights that I really wanted to see. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I think it looks like Manny Pacquiao is going to fight Mikey Garcia. And let's see if Terence Crawford can finally secure a big fight in the welterweight division. The wait goes on. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. Make sure you join my Facebook group. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, follow me on Twitter, follow my Facebook page, and join my Facebook group. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.